Hello and welcome to the Hyperion Driver-Based Planning tutorial. In this lesson we will talk about percentage of completion revenue in the Hyperion application. Percentage of completion revenue accounts can be accessed under the Standard Ledger Drivers and Results section of the task list. To start this process, you need to add a row of revenue, just like you would with any other standard revenue type. We will open a new sheet, expand the task list, and then open the Create or Modify Revenue Forecast Drivers web form. You can see on this example that there are several drivers in the External Revenue Volume Recurring account. To add percentage of completion, right-click here, go to Smart View, and select Add a Row. You will select an account. This is where you select the percentage of completion revenue accounts. As a shortcut, type the word percent, and this will display the external revenue percentage of completion account. Add to the right side and click on OK. When selecting the drivers, remember you can select up to 10 drivers per account. So here you can select as many as you expect to use. Click OK and the rows are added. If you scroll down, you can see the 3 drivers for percentage of completion. Now select the driver type, which should be fixed charge, because you will enter the dollars expected in the months that billable milestones are planned to complete. Use the comment field to provide additional detail. Total revenue is P times Q. So it doesn't matter to the system if you have a P of 1 and a Q that equals the revenue you expect, or vice versa. You can skip months if no revenue is expected. You can copy and paste the driver type as a shortcut, since we will use a fixed charge for the other percentage of completion drivers. Whether you have one consolidated revenue driver for all your percentage of completion contracts or multiple drivers for groupings of your percentage of completion work is up to you. The system is limited to 10 drivers per revenue type per planning cost center. It is anticipated that percentage of completion revenue will be modeled in specialized Excel templates and then pasted into the Hyperion web form. You will need a driver rate P and a driver value Q for all drivers. As a shortcut, you can also copy and paste the values that remain the same as we did before. Once the revenue is entered, click on Submit Data to save your progress and validate that all entries are correct. If everything turns green, like here, you are ready to submit your form for a calculation. Right-click, then go to Smart View and click on Calculate Results. After the calculation is completed, you can see the calculated value of revenue for each driver in the gray read-only cells. Open the adjustment web form and look at the calculated results. At the moment, external revenue volume recurring is showing. If you click on refresh, you should see percentage of completion across time based on the fixed amounts entered in the revenue web form. Now that you have entered the revenue, you need to decide how to handle the expenses. This will depend on how the business has set up the planning cost centers. If the expenses in your business trend the same as other revenue types in the same planning cost center, you can simply trend the expense driver types. If the trendings are very different, you can set up 2 expense drivers. On this example, if the percentage of completion driver is 80% of the business and the other revenue types are 20%, you can use a P of 0.2 and a P of 0.8 for each of 2 drivers per expense account. To do this, we use the example of the Other Services and Supplies ledger account. Here there is 1 driver already, with a 12-month average trend. You can see that there already exist values in this account from a prior calculation. Now you need to add a new driver for this account to split the expenses as explained before. Right-click, then go to Smart View, and then click on Add Row. to add the new driver. You can use a shortcut since we know that driver 1 is already in use. You can just change the number to make it driver 002. The account will remain the same since we are adding a new driver to this account. Click OK. Now you can see that driver 002 has been added. We select the trending for the driver type field, then add a comment to clarify what this is for. For the second driver, which represents the part of the business that is percentage of completion, we use a driver type of prior month. Add a comment and a P of 0.8. Taken together, one driver and its trending will represent 20% of the business, and the second driver and its different trending will represent the other 8% of the business. You can copy and paste these values across the cells that you need to fill. Now you can submit and calculate the values. You can see that 20% of the 12-month trend is an expense amount of $905 as a calculated value, and that driver 2, which is for percentage of completion, is a different amount. Now the math here may not make sense in a real scenario, but I wanted to show the concept of using 2 or more drivers for one expense account. This may prove helpful when you have 2 distinct revenue or expense types in one planning cost center and you want to trend them differently. Thank you for your time and attention. Goodbye.